We love to seem. We seem to love. We seem to love heroes and monsters. Great evil villains. And bright, shining people that go in and rescue. I don't like where this is going. What?
Is it okay if I play on the entertainment center for an hour?
Do you think if I told them yes, that he'd leave me alone? I doubt it. Yes, you may.
Alright, thank you.
Alright. I'm going to start over here. Finger magic, okay? Just shut the fuck up and watch. Sorry. Heroes. That's what I was talking about. Heroes and villains and monsters. My story today is about a hero and a monster. Backstory. When my youngest son was about 6, he asked me to, wait, you want me to tell him 7 now? 6 or 7? Oh, this is really... Alright. When my youngest son was about 7, he asked me to tell him a story. It was late. I was tired. I'm always up for a good story, so I was like, let's think. And so the story began. Once upon a time, there was a mountain that was seen as cursed. A creature lived in this mountain, you see. And no one who went seemed to come back. The stories had spread for generations. Parents telling children to scare them, to get them to do what they wanted them to do. You know how parents are. Could you just listen to me, goddammit? Yeah, like that. That's how parents are. You know. If you're a parent. So, and of course, where there are stories, there are adventurers. And the adventurers would go, seeking glory and fame and untold riches. And most of them did come back, because they just didn't get that far. If you have no skill in something, really, should you be climbing a mountain? First time, I'm a tailor. I've been doing tailoring my whole life, but now I'm gonna go be an adventurer. I bought a backpack from that guy over there. Unreliable source. Ended up with a hole in the backpack. The stitching was crap because, you know, being a tailor, he should have just made the damn thing himself. Or whatever. Many reasons. Most of them turned around. But very few actually did get further into the mountain and never returned. Of course, this just inflated the stories about the eye that lived in the mountain. Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you. I'm not going to tell you either. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, now I'll tell you. That's the monster. They called it the Eyeball of Methladon. Okay, this is... Never mind. They called it the Eyeball of Methladon. And there were rumors about how it had, was 50 feet tall, and it had tentacles coming out the sides of everything, and just a giant eyeball with a big hairy lid. Just... Look, I didn't say my story was going to go from A to Z, okay? I just said I was going to tell a story to my son. You know how kids are. They ask questions. What color was the eye? Where did it live? What did it eat? Stuff like that. That I'm totally not going to answer. I answered it for him, but I'm not going to for you. So there. Imagine it whatever color you wanted, okay? Anyways. One day, a young traveler passing through the village at the base of this mountain, one of the villages. He had passed through many, and he had heard many stories, but he had decided at this point, I'm gonna go check this out. 'Cause, dreams of glory and fame, and it'd be great for that story he was working on. So our hero's name was Ronan. And Ronan got together everything he needed to do to have for a long journey into the mountains. Now, Ronan, not being an idiot, went and did a bunch of research to make sure that he had everything that he needed. Did he need cold weather gear? Did he need to be able to hunt while he was up there, or would it be easy to find food, etc., etc.? So he took his time getting ready. He got everything together. And, what time of year would be best to go? He waited for that time of year. Got to know the villagers. All the people at the base of this massive, did I say mountain? It was more like canyons. Seriously. Lots of life. Just more than one. Anyways, so he decided to go climbing into the mountains. Did he go alone? Where's my D20? Where's my percentiles? I don't know. Maybe he went alone. Let me think about it. In this story, he went alone when I told my son, so we'll keep it that way. So off he goes, climbing up the mountains, hiking and fishing and hunting and doing quite well to get up there. Just not that much different than what he was used to doing when he traveled. So that's what he did. And he got to the location where that supposedly this massive eyeball of Methladon lived. And he had heard rumors that it lived in a cave deep in the mountains. There were tunnels, he had heard, that wove in and out and through. Shut up, this is my story. Don't be interrupting. In and out and through. And that is where he would find the Eyeball of Methladon. So Ronan, he came upon this cave entrance. Supposedly there were many. He came upon this one, okay? He came upon this cave entrance, and he contemplated whether he should or not. Were there bones everywhere? No. There weren't bones everywhere. Were there dead things? No. Was life like not living around this cave entrance? No, it was fine. Life was normal. In fact, look, there goes a little, it's not a white bunny. No, it's black, okay? It's a little black bunny jumping off through the shrubbery. And so, he contemplated. He was afraid. He was very afraid. He didn't want to admit it to himself, but now that he was here, he had to admit he was terrified to go into this cave. And so he was undecided on what to do. All this way he had come. He had journeyed so far. He had eaten strange things. And talked to his fire. Shut up! He did. I saw him do it. Don't judge him. You know you talk to your fire too when you're alone. Anyways. Finally, after much deliberation, debate, he decided to do it after all. He was going to do it. He was going to go. He came all this way, why the hell not? So he decided to go. And he bolstered his courage and his resolve, and he went into the caves. Was he smart about this? Once again, no die. I can't roll. I'd love to, you know what, next time I'm going to have some dice sitting here so I can just be like, okay, let's see what he did. I don't have that now. Anyways, he did. You can imagine. He got lost. All those tunnels and caves. He got lost because there's just not enough twine in the world. Okay, maybe in the world. And he was actually okay. There were a lot of different openings where the sun came in and there was growth, and he had enough rations and stuff. Once again, my story. And finally, he came upon what seemed to be a nest, a lair. He saw it. The eyeball of Methladon. Or was that just a rock? He sat there very still, not moving, watching this thing. And then from behind, no, I'm kidding. I was telling this to a 7-year-old boy. Okay, that didn't happen. Actually, I've told stories like that. But anyways, the great eye of Methladon was just slightly open. Kind of like how, I'm sure you've known people who sleep and they have their eyes slightly open. It's kind of creepy, right? It looks like they're watching you and they're snoring at the same time. Really? Just want to turn them on their side, but they're already sitting, so just slightly open, looking right at him. Actually, yes. And he just sat there and watched it in just awe for how hairy this eyeball could be. Okay, the hair was on the outside of the lid, and there were tentacles coming out, but it wasn't 50 feet tall. It was only like 20 feet tall. But there were tentacles up on tentacle-esque things. They were hairy too, so on the ceiling like this, and on the ground around them. But the eyeball was not moving. It was just sitting there, watching him. So he thought, this is my chance. This is my chance. I'm going to kill it, and I'm going to bring part of it back, and I'm going to be able to prove that I was here. That's going to stink. I mean, seriously, why would you do that? Why? I could never understand that. Why bring a head back or something? I mean, you know, I know they want the head. They want proof that you did it, and I have to admit, I've done this myself when You don't leave the head. You don't get the bounty if you leave the head. You have to bring the head, but it's gross still. Anyways, so he's getting up and he's getting ready. He's got his sword and he's getting ready to attack it. But something stopped him. He wasn't sure what. Why did he stop? He looked at the eye again to try and understand why he had stopped. He looked at it and he saw in the corner of the opening a tear on each side. He realized the eye was full of sorrow, very sad, and this had stilled him. It touched his heart to realize that this monster that he was looking at, completely just grotesque looking monster, just a giant eye with these hairy tentacles reaching up, holding the ceiling and whatnot, could feel sorrow. And it stayed his sword. What did he do? What did this wanderer, this traveler do when he saw such great sorrow in this monster's eyes? He changed his mind. He couldn't just destroy it without knowing anything about it and seeing such sorrow in it. So he changed his mind. But what would he do? Could he go back empty-handed? This is not a time when they had cameras where he could just click and then go with the proof like that. I mean, and then Photoshop anyways, right? So he decided to study it. You knew, right? You knew he was going to study this thing, right? Being a traveler and being a storyteller as he is, he always has notebooks with him. I did mention that he was thinking about information for his stories, right? So he did decide to study it, and he spent a good deal of time studying it. He found that it did eat as an omnivore. It ate bugs, small animals, and sometimes plants. He found that it traveled through the tunnels using the tentacles on all four sides as the eye sat in the middle part of the tunnel that it was traveling through. Just imagine the tentacles like, whoa. Cool, right? He found that it was alone, but that there was proof in the caves and the tunnels that it had not always been alone. There had been others like it, and they were now gone. And he found that it was very sad. He spent a great deal of time in those caves, drawing pictures of the creature, taking samples of hair that it had shed, and understanding how that it nested and moved. Great diagrams. The creature did not seem to mind him. You could probably have guessed that, though. I mean, he spends so much time in these caves with a creature, and it's not eating you. So I'm assuming he was probably too big for it to eat. Maybe. He's gonna knock. He's gonna knock. Maybe not. Anyways. He gathered all of this information, and he he left the creature in peace, with a great sorrow, knowing that this creature, this amazing creature that he had found, that did all these amazing things, was the last of its kind. There would be no more. Unless there was something he was misunderstanding. Maybe they bury their young, bury the eggs. That'd be nice, right? Then it wouldn't be alone forever. Just for now. Oh. I'm gonna have to stop for a minute. Okay. We were talking about burying young. Yes, something like that. Maybe not, though. From everything that he had gathered, it seemed like this creature would be forever alone. And then die alone and be the end of its species. And there would be nothing left. Nothing. Except for the remains. Giving a moment of silence for the death of a species. So this supposed monster, in Ronan's eyes, was no longer a monster. And he took that information back. And he took it back to the townspeople. And he banged outside the window noisily. That's what he did. That is what Ronan did. He took that information back and he taught people about the creature, and he wrote a book with all of the information that he had compiled, and he published it. And he became a very well-known author. Fantastical stories of make-believe creatures, or something like that. Of course, not many people are going to believe it, but it did change his mind about what a monster was. And it changed many people's mind. He touched a lot of hearts with his story and changed a lot of minds. This felt like a pivotal moment telling this story to my son. A story about a perceived monster who many, many, many men had tried to go up and kill. And that's, you know what? Let's put some women in there. I can do that. I'm the author. Many people had tried to go and kill. And maybe that's what happened to this race of creature, this race. Yeah, we could call it a race. They're very intelligent. The Eyeball of Methladon is a very intelligent species, so read Ronan's book, you'll get it. Anyways. Many, many people had gone up to try to destroy this monster, and without any understanding, just that. Glory and power and money and I wonder if any of the others ended up changing their minds. Oh, I'm going to tell you later, don't worry about it. Thoughts in the middle of the story that you already know the answers to. Anyways, I'm sorry, let's continue. It changed his mind. Ronan's mind had forever been changed at the idea that a monster is just something that you may perceive to be a monster. This creature looked scary and had a scary story that people had made up for him. And so they had called him a monster without even knowing anything about him. So Ronan's mind was changed, and he changed the hearts and minds of many, many people about that as well. So maybe we could try to understand instead of just assuming that something or someone is a monster. Maybe the actions that someone takes seems harsh, but in reality, for the knowledge that they have, it is logical, it is sound, and it is the best option that they have. With that being said now, okay, this was Ronan's experience, and as a child, I would leave it at that. But now, as an older person, I would say to him, with that being said, it is very important to realize one simple fact. The Eyeball of Methladon did kill those other travelers. They came up to kill him, and him being a very intelligent creature, understood this, and with great sorrow that he had to continually defend himself in this way, he killed them. He had anger in his heart and no remorse for doing it. And if Ronan had attacked him, he would have killed Ronan as well. But Ronan stopped and saw. He saw the truth in the creature's eyes, the sorrow, when all the others only saw a monster. So caution is still a good idea. Always keep caution in mind. But try to always remember as well. Sometimes you just might not understand what's going on. Maybe you should give those around you a second chance. Okay. I think this is good. This is good. It's, it's good. Thank you for listening to the story of the Eyeball of Methladon. Which, by the way, Ronan loved the story, and his sister loved it too. They were completely enthralled the entire story. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Okay, I'm gonna go now.